Before I tell you how to begin writing your first draft, I want to review the schedule. Today, we reviewed settings, characters, interior monologue, and we began writing our rough draft. In your next class, you'll read the newspaper, do a worksheet on that, do a Jeopardy review for our first IA skills quiz, and then work on your rough draft. Finally, on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, you will take this IA Interactive Achievement Skills Quiz on your tablet, and then you will finish, and need to have done by the end of class, your rough draft. You'll revise on Thursday and Friday of next week, edit on Monday and Tuesday, and your final draft will be due on Wednesday, October 17th or Thursday, October 18th. What this means is you will only have some class time the next 3 days to write your rough draft, so you need to work efficiently to make sure that you finish in time and do not need to do work at home. First thing you need to do today is fill out your storyboarding personal narrative organizer. This should be easy if you previously filled out this plot chart. If not, it might be a bit more difficult. Basically, in the boxes, you should write or draw your exposition, another happening in your exposition arising action, what happens during the climax, what happens during the fallen action, what happens during the resolution, right? This is basically where you take what you want to write about for your personal narrative and outline it. Not sure what topic to write about still? Well, I have 3 suggestions. Reread your journal number 1, 2, and 3, all things that you wrote about personal topics, and choose the one that interests you most. After you finish filling in all parts of your plot, it's time to add a bit of spice to your story. In these boxes below, put in where in your story you will use this element. So, where will you use dialogue? What scene over here will you use interior monologue? What scene, probably the introduction, will you use and describe the setting? And then what scenes will you use imagery? This will help you make sure that you get points for these in your rubric when you need to have dialogue, interior monologue, setting description, character description, imagery, and personification. Once you've filled out this entire storyboarding personal narrative organizer, it's time to write. You may type or write your rough draft, though the final draft must be typed. Remember, the final draft must be 2 pages, 12-point type, double-spaced. That usually equals about 4 pages of a handwritten draft. My biggest advice for those of you who are staring at a blank screen thinking, what in the world do I write? Is just start writing. You can begin writing at the beginning of your story, or if that seems intimidating, start writing a scene of dialogue where you choose one of those scenes that you wrote about and put into your personal narrative organizer and write that scene. For instance, you might not know how to begin your story, but you might know the climax. Therefore, try to write the climax with a scene of dialogue. Or, if you really like one of the characters in your story, start writing a description of that character. Or, write a description of the setting, right? Just write, then come back to the hard parts next class to flesh out your rough draft. So to review, when I stop talking, first you will fill out your storyboard personal narrative organizer, using ideas from your journal if you need them. Then you will begin handwriting or typing your rough draft. Again, you only have parts of 3 classes to do this, so you need to work efficiently in order to finish. Good luck, and let me or Mrs. Lane know if you have questions. Get to storyboarding, then writing.